Hello, everybody. Welcome to the channel. My name is Lindsay, and this is Life with Lindsay. Today we have a WIP Chat for you. But if you're new here, hi, welcome. My name is Lindsay. I do mainly diamond painting and some other crafting-related content from time to time. And I would love if you would like, subscribe, excuse me, hit the bell, hop aboard the Hot Mess Express. Let's love your friends. If you've been here before, hi, welcome. Thanks for coming back. So nothing like having to erase a ton of old videos off your phone to be able to record new videos on your phone. I've already knocked over my entire notebook and all of my, what are these called? Release papers, once today, so we're not going to do that again. We're going to move that out of the way. But I hope that you guys are all doing well. Happy June. Happy Pride. I announced this on my Instagram, but if you are somebody that does not agree with that, you don't have to be here. You also don't have to announce it. I do, and I'm very vocal about that. So, let's get into this. I am currently working on Fortune Teller. This is a Simona Candini, and it is from Dreamer Designs. If you'd like to see the unboxing for that, I will leave that up in the eye. In that video, I had mentioned, I'm going to be unboxing a couple Diamond Art Clubs that are in the mail. They'll be delivered today. No, I didn't. I literally took this out of the box, unboxed it, and then immediately started working on it. So, there's that. Eventually I'll get to those. I don't think anyone's like clamoring for me to do an unboxing of a kit that has already been released, but I hope that you guys are well. It is, like, the weather here is driving me crazy. It needs to make up its mind. Do you want to be spring, summer, or do you want to be, like, fall, spring? Because we've had plenty of days that it's not been really warm, and then, like, later this week it's going into the 90s, which, what? I am not thrilled about that. I'm not built for that, but I hope that you guys are all doing well and having a fantastic beginning to your June. What is everybody up to? Tell me. I know a lot of other school districts are already out. If you are in school, work in a school, have a kid in school, let me know when you guys get out. If you've already gotten out. I know my husband at work has been inundated with kids that are out of school already. But my daughter finishes the end of this week, which is crazy. I cannot believe that the school year is over. And of course, she's very sad because she loves school. And I'm nervous because I'm taking away all of her routine, which doesn't, yield the best results. But the other thing that I'm concerned about, well, I guess there's two things. So, my daughter eats lunch at school every day. Obviously, my kid eats lunch at school. My daughter eats, like, whatever their hot lunches are. We've been very lucky to have a school that's worked with us on my daughter's dietary restrictions, and we've gotten that taken care of. Great. But my daughter doesn't understand, like, when it comes to dinner time, for example, I can kind of sort of assume what time we're going to have dinner because we're either doing it in between other things or immediately upon returning from some activity or whatever it may be. But lunch is a little bit harder because if she wakes up later, she's going to eat lunch later. If, I'm not putting something in the crock pot at night to eat for lunch during the day, and a lot of times she doesn't know what she wants for lunch, which is understandable because, like, shit, neither do I. But then it turns into, well, I don't know what I want. And then, okay, let me give you some suggestions of things that we have in the fridge or the freezer. No, I don't want that. Okay. Or she'll be like, I want this thing and I want it right now. I'm hungry right now. And I'm like, girl, that takes time to cook. Now, thankfully, we have an air fryer. So a lot of those things that would take a while in an oven that I have to let preheat, those are much quicker in an air fryer. Like, I just made pizza rolls the other night, and those took, like, no time at all. But, you know, kids just don't have chill or patience, especially when they're like, I'm hungry and I'm hungry now. Because she's not one of those kids that's like, I'm starting to get hungry. Because you'll ask her, do you want something to eat? No. And then all of a sudden she's like, can I have a snack? That's the dead giveaway. No, you can't have a snack. We're going to have a meal. Oh, I didn't know that. What did you think? We just weren't going to have lunch and dinner and all the meals of the day? So I explained, like, at school, they have a cafeteria. They have people who, like, that is their literal job, is to plan out and then prep the meals for however many kids so that when they walk into the door, it's 100% ready for them. There's no, like, restaurant, what do you want? Let me make it to order. So we'll see how that goes. I'm a little bit nervous for my sanity because I have a hard time just coming up with dinner ideas. You guys, I am in such a dinner rut too. And it sucks. Now that it's like warm, I want to be irresponsible and go buy a new grill, which that's not super irresponsible or anything like that. But I know I'm not going to be out there grilling on it. So it only is beneficial if my husband is home. And not that, like, I don't think I could man a grill, but I cannot man a grill and also watch my child at the same time. And if I'm outside, she's going to want to be outside. And that's going to be constant redirection of, like, stop trying to climb the tree, get out of the bush, leave the branches alone, stay away from the road, don't touch that. Can you come where mommy can see you? You know, I feel like my head is on a swivel all the time. But, man, when we're outside, it's, like, even worse. I love her, don't get me wrong, but, man, it is something else. Being outdoors with that child is a whole other experience. But, yeah, so I'm excited that school is over, as I mentioned. But the other, like, big thing that I'm nervous about is we discussed, and this I'm sure is true with, like, every school. My child has accommodations in school, and they're not, you know, severe enough that they need to be, like, met with and revised right now. But I can't even get an IEP or 504 meeting until after the school year has already begun. Well, I don't like that. I don't like that at all. I want to be able to assure that when we walk in the school the first day in August, that everything that is supposed to be in place is still in place. Now, our current paperwork is good for, I think, 2 school years. It might be 3 school years. But we've had some addendums, if you will, but they haven't been, like, formally met with. They've just been like, oh, yeah, on good faith, we're doing X, Y, and Z. And it's like, okay. Also, like, okay, anybody else who has a school-age child hate that, like, you don't find out about the teacher situation till so much later? Which I understand they have to decide how many kids are going in which classroom and things like that. But I realize that the one second grade teacher, my daughter will be in second grade in the fall, she lives in our neighborhood. I don't really want her to be my daughter's teacher. I have no problem with her being a teacher. I just don't want... You have a different kind of relationship with the people that live in your neighborhood than the people that teach you. You know what I mean? Like, it's a lot different when she goes outside and her teacher is basically across the street from her and she sees her all the time. Or if my kid's having a complete meltdown and being a total little butthole and I snap at her in the driveway, I don't need it to be, like, brought up in the classroom that, like, oh, you know, I don't know. And I don't know if that's something I can request the school to not give us her because, like, I feel like it's a personal conflict. And I don't know this woman other than to say hello to her. It just makes me uncomfortable to know that there's a woman that could potentially be seeing my child every single day and then come home and still see my child all the time because we live in the same neighborhood. Like, I can see her house from my house. It's not like she lives down the street. You know what I mean? I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking it. But I also know that the version of my child that the school gets is a very different version than the at-home version. But yeah, so anyway, does anybody else have any fun plans for the summer? Please let me know. I would love to know what everybody is up to. I need to figure out some more things to do. If you guys were here last year, I took my daughter to Chicago. I just like hopped on a plane for a couple days, and I need to get a passport. I mean, for multiple reasons, but for me, the process of going through and getting a real ID is just not really super feasible for me. I just put that right on the glue, didn't I? Sure did. And I need a real ID to fly. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, I don't think every state requires it. Maybe they do. But if you're from like out of the states, you probably have no idea what I'm talking about. So on the top of my driver's license, it will say not for real ID purposes. Real IDs are driver's license or state IDs, but they have like an additional requirement of you need certain things in order to get it. So my husband and I have been married for going on, it'll be 13 years. God, right? Is that right? 2012? Yeah. What am I hitting with my pen? I'm gonna have to move that. Hopefully. I don't know if that's... I don't even know how close I am to the camera. I just realized that. Maybe I'm really close. Anyway, so when we got married, I was like, listen, I'm not going to go through and change all of my things to my married name. Now, like legally, which that's a whole different conversation, but legally my last name and my husband's last name are the same. But according to things like my utility bills, they're not. What color is that? I don't know if that was supposed to be there. Yeah, I guess so. Okay. So one of the requirements is that you have like bills in your name, but a lot of the utilities that we have still say my maiden name, so that doesn't help for those purposes. And also I'd have to go and get another marriage certificate like reissued with the raised seal because Lord knows what happened to ours. Does that happen to anyone else, or am I just that disorganized? I had to recently go through and reapply for birth certificates for us because I have no idea what happened to any of our important documents, which is super fantastic when you think about it. I'm just checking. I actually did... I don't know if you guys want to see it. Do you guys want to see like a super mini minder haul? I bought 5. Maybe I'll just do it as a short. I bought, I think, 5 cover minders from Galloway. And I bought one to match this, which is not normally my thing. If it's your thing, that's awesome. It's not normally my thing. But then I was like, well, I might as well get a couple other while I'm here and put a couple in my cart. And then they had a sale going on. So I was like, well, I might as well. So I think I got 5, maybe 6 cover minders. But if you guys would like to see that, let me know. I would gladly share that with you guys. But anyway, but then I'm like, my daughter and I have no plans to go anywhere specifically this summer, like we did last year. But last year was also not hey, we specifically planned this thing. It was more of a circumstance that her skating coach was out of town she took a kid to nationals, and it just worked out. We had a chunk of free time, and I just bought tickets and got on a plane with my kid and flew across country. So yeah, I don't know. But she's a couple weeks of camp. When I grew up, tell me what it is like for you guys. Maybe like when you were a kid, or if you have kids, or if you had kids, like what it was like. But around here, like daily summer camp is not a thing. Like day camp. They have a couple programs that are... Sorry, I'm trying to figure out where I can put my tray without it sticking. Like when I was a kid, I signed up for camp. Or I didn't. My parents signed me up for camp. And then I went to camp Monday through Friday every week for 8 weeks. And it was one camp program. Around here, they've got programs, but they're all like 1 week programs. And if you sign up for the same camp twice, like you're literally just doing the same thing 2 weeks in a row or 2 different weeks throughout the year, or you have a lot of these camps where they only are offered this particular week, that particular week, and this particular week. So for us, I try to get my kiddo into a couple activity-based camps if I can. And, sorry, I was trying to gauge if that was the right amount. So she's got 3 weeks of skating camp. Is that right? No. 2 weeks of skating camp and zoo camp. I just signed her up for like a 3-day program, but it's only like 2 hours a day for 3 days. But it's still something, you know what I mean? But it's just crazy to me that these kinds of day camps don't exist the way they did when I was a kid. And it's because the area I live in, I don't think that that is like non-existent in bigger areas. But the only option I have around here would be like faith-based. I don't want to send my kid to like a program through a church. I'm not a Christian, so I wouldn't do that anyway, but I don't know. Excuse me. And the one that they have through the JCC is like 45 minutes away. And I'm not trying to drive that far to drop her off at camp and then that far to pick her back up from camp. Like, I literally got on a school bus as a child to go to camp. They picked us up in our neighborhood and off we went. And I didn't go to camp like super close. But anyway, it just annoys me. So I need something to keep her occupied. But her idea of keeping herself occupied during the summer is, how much of mommy's money can I spend? So trying to instill a lot of like reading programs for the summer. I got to sign up. Pizza Hut's Book It is back. And the registration opened yesterday. So I have to register her for that. But I told her I would pay her for every book that she read. So she will make a whopping 10 cents per book. But the deal is you don't get paid until you read $1 worth. So if you read 9 books, you don't get that 90 cents. If you read 14 books, you won't get that second dollar. Like, you have to read. And she's like, okay. So I'm hoping to do that. Maybe sign up for our local library reading program. I just need something to keep some sort of structure. And, like, don't get me wrong, I would love nothing more than to just, like, lounge around and do nothing. But I can't do that because she's not that kind of kid. She's not, and at least she's not at that point in her life now where, like, she just wants to sit inside and watch TV or play video games or whatever. Like, she still wants to hang out with me and still wants to be active and doing these things. So, you know, and I looked into the public pool because thought maybe that'd be nice to consider. It's so expensive, and I don't know why. The pool in the county next to us that, like, is brand new. It was just built, I think last season was the first season. Maybe the one before that was the first season. But it is less money, and it has newer, modern facilities. As a non-resident of that township, it would still be cheaper than a resident of the one I live in, which blows my mind, you guys. I cannot fathom that. Anyway, so yeah, we've got that going. Who knows what other things we have. We're gonna go see Legacy on Ice. That's Labor Day, so that's quite a while away, but we're gonna go see that. My mom is gonna join us. We were able to get early access tickets because my daughter is a member of the local figure skating club. My desk is so disorganized right now. I feel like it would send so many people into, like, a coma if they saw. That's how you know, like, I just wanted to get started. I was like, just put it on the table, get started now. I just stabbed myself in the eye. But I hope that you guys have some fun summer plans, whether that means, you know, going on a vacation or just chilling at home and doing nothing, or whatever it may be. I need to come up with some better, like, food type ideas. I got some super cubes. I don't know if you guys have ever seen these. I guess they were a Shark Tank product, and I did not know that. Not that that deters me. But they are these silicone molds that they have different sizes, like a 1 cup, 2 cup, tablespoon, and I forget the other one is. And what you do is you put your leftovers in these single serve portions and you freeze them. And they're great for storing leftovers or for meal prep. I just have to get, like, I told Brian next time he makes chili, I want him to make a double batch so that we can just freeze some cubes of that. So on those days that we're like, we have no time to make anything and nothing seems to be going our way, that we can just pull that right out of the freezer. That would be ideal. So I need some ideas for that. And I am somebody, I really enjoy, like, when it's summertime, I love, like, pasta salad season. And so I got to come up with some good pasta salads. We did a make your own pasta salad night one night, which was great. My daughter loved that. I just put out a bunch of different toppings and a couple dressings, and off to town everybody went. So you wanted it more, like, I had some tomato mozzarella stuff. I had some chopped meats. And it's one of those things that if there's, like, leftovers of that, like, my husband would definitely take that to work. Now she's going to be home, so she could eat that for lunch. But anyway, I feel like I have so much to do this week, and also have no idea how we got to this point. I don't know. Time is fleeting. It is insane how it moves both so quickly and so slowly. I am hoping that I can get myself into a nice rhythm where I can still provide you guys with WIP Chats over the summer. But when my child is home from school, that is the absolute hardest for me to record. Inevitably, when I'm like, okay, kiddo, mommy's going upstairs to record, that's when she's like, mommy, I have to tell you something. Or, like, her whole world is falling apart, and it's so important that mommy comes downstairs to find that, like, she stubbed her toe. Which, you know, I will definitely come down and give you a hug for that, but could you not be trying to set the world on fire for, like, a whole hour while mommy records? That would be very helpful. But she, I don't think I shared this with you guys. Maybe I did. So I bit the bullet and I bought the big girl bed that we have been eyeing for several years. There was a Memorial Day sale. I think it was a Memorial Day sale. And the price had gone up significantly since I had first looked at it. But then it dropped down to a sale price that was lower than what I had seen in a while. So I was like, now's the time to do it. For those who are interested, my daughter has been sleeping in her converted crib since she was 1.5. One time, I caught her trying to climb out of her crib and onto the armoire next to it. Just once. And that was, I said, we're changing the bed today. And my husband was actually set to fly out of town, like, the next day. And I was like, he's like, can it wait till I come back? And I was like, nope. So from there, I changed it, and she has been in some version of her converted crib. So right now it's like a day bed, but it's still not like a cool big girl bed. You know what I mean? So I wanted to get this loft. I don't know who designed these rooms. I know who designed these rooms because I know the builder, and he's awful. But my daughter lives in, so we have our bedroom, and then she has a bedroom that is connected through a Jack and Jill bathroom to the third bedroom, which originally we were like, we're going to make it a guest room. And then I was like, well, we need the storage, and nobody stays here anyway. So it's really just a room for all of our stuff. And then because of the way her room is, when you walk into you walk in from her door, if you're looking straight ahead, directly in front of you is a window. To the immediate left is a short wall, and then the world's worst closet design ever. It's like almost like a long corridor. It's not that long, but it's long enough. But it's not wide enough to put in any kind of shelving or any kind of organizational tools, but it also has a rack for the clothing that is so short that I'm like, why did you even make this room have a closet? Like, it's such a waste of space. And then immediately to the right when you walk in is her bathroom. So I have one wall that's mostly unusable because there's a window right in the middle of it. I have one wall that's completely unusable because there's a bathroom. And then the larger wall is where her bed currently is. And then the shorter wall when you first walk in is where I was hoping to put her bed. I got a loft bed with a built-in desk. And I was very, very excited. And my goal was to put it on the shorter wall. That way it could be across from the window. She would still have room for her little doll stuff and a couple other things in her room that she already has that we'd like to keep. Like, she's got like a small couch. And when I say small couch, like it's literally meant for like toddlers. But she loves it, and it fits in our room really well. And so we get the boxes, multiple. It's like 150 pounds. Okay, my bad. And my husband and I, we just put them on the inside of the house. And my daughter's like, what's that? I'm like, nothing, don't worry about it. It's something for mommy and daddy. And she hasn't questioned it since. The problem is it's too big to just take upstairs and just like leave it. And the biggest problem is that we need time when she is not home to redo her room. So we had a small window after it was delivered. There was like 2 days where she was in school and my husband was off. But the problem is all we had was the bed. We still currently only have the bed. We don't have the mattress or the bedding. We still need to decide what we're doing for the bedding. Is there a crack across my screen? And I just touched it. Sorry. So, you know, obviously we're not going to assemble her room if she doesn't have all the things that she needs. So that's a conversation I have to have with my husband again. We need to make some final decisions. But this is a complete surprise to our kiddo. She has no idea that her big girl room is like literally in the hallway. So with her being out of school, it makes it a lot harder because then the only chances I have are those weeks that she's at camp. And the thing with, if he gets it assembled or we get it assembled together, then I can have him be like, hey, baby girl, we're going to go on a daddy-daughter date. And then the two of them can go out while I finish decorating. But I'm still trying to figure out how we're going to make this all work. But she's going to be very, very excited. I redid her bathroom last month, and it's the same theme as her bedroom, which she does not know. But she loves the theme, and she has expressed, like, that's what she wants. So it's like strawberries. And I feel like strawberries are in, and this won't be something that in a couple years she'll be like, Mommy, this is such a baby room. I need a tween room. I need a high school. I mean, maybe in high school she'll want something different. Maybe by then we won't. So we still need to get a chair. I found one chair. I don't know. I was looking for a chair I had seen previously at TJ Maxx, and they didn't have it. This was last year, so I wasn't sure if, you know, there was any left. But anyway, I'm just trying to pull together all these things, and I feel like it's impossible to get anything accomplished because she's always around when she's not in school. And it's not like this is something that can be done in like an hour or two. You know, like we have to assemble all the furniture and get all the bedding together and get everything just, it's a lot of moving parts. But she's going to be really excited. The goal is obviously get it done before she goes back to school. Although being in school would make it easier for me to get it done. But I know how badly she wants like a big girl room. So And we're also going to get blinds, like real blinds. I don't think I've ever told you guys this. Maybe I have. If I have, it's probably been a long, long time. So we don't have real blinds in my daughter's room. And you're probably thinking to yourself, what do you mean you don't have real blinds? We have paper blinds. So when Briar was a baby, toddler, she would stand at her window and pull. And so we just removed. It didn't come, her room didn't come with blinds. So we put paper blinds in because those were easy. We could fold them up. If she pulled on it, it wasn't going to come down. But the problem was, the taller she got, the more she ripped them. So it went from like, you know, being to the window ledge to a couple inches above it. Now she ripped it so high that she can stand at the window and people can see her completely from outside. Which I always have to tell her, like, girl, stop standing in front of your window. But she's funny. We've put like a sheet over the window to give her like makeshift blinds. But then she still pulls on those. So I think what we're going to do are get the ones that are like the accordion style that you just push up and pull down. That way, if she wants them up, she can just push them up herself or pull them down herself. But yeah, so I feel like there's still a lot of moving parts. We need to figure out all those things before we plan a day. Am I doing the right color? Yes, before we plan the right day to start working on it. But I'm excited. Speaking of some excitement, so my kiddo did her spring show, which was a theater on ice show, and it was Mirror Mirror. So it was like the Descendants and Zombies from Disney. It was amazing. The kids did such a good job. And when I say kids, I mean literally from 5 years old up until high school seniors. They had one like young adult coach who was in the show for one number because they didn't have another adult male to play the role. But I think he's only like 20. Like, I don't think he's so adult, you know what I mean? But anyway, the kids did great. It was 2 shows back to back. They performed their hearts out. The show itself was fantastic. We had a couple people able to come see her skate, which was always great. She loves having an audience. This year, the advertising for it wasn't as good as previous shows, and part of that was that they didn't open up ticket sales till like a week before. And if you are somebody who has school-age children, excuse me, you know that sometimes you need more than like a couple days to a week notice to be able to accommodate something like that. So we were really, really lucky that one of her friends, who has actually seen her skate quite a few times, was able to come. Kevin and Erica from Kevin's Creations, Kevin's DP Pens, they were able to come. And my mother-in-law and my husband's aunt were able to come. So that was super nice. It was really awesome to have the support. And my daughter got to do a waltz jump in this show, which was great. I think that a lot of times she gets lumped in to like the baby numbers because she's smaller, and sometimes they kind of forget that like she can actually do these skills if you just give her a chance to do them. So huge shout out to the staff at that rink. They put together gorgeous programs. The costumes were great. The kids were great. My husband was security backstage. And before anybody like scoffs at that, so this is a true sanctioned event by U.S. Figure Skating. So nobody without state clearances and safe sport certifications are allowed to be backstage for the safety of the children. And so he was the one that had to remind parents constantly, like, you can't go back there. And I was talking to him in between shows. They set up like a little food stand. I got him a hot dog. Briar was getting changed, so I was just chatting with him. And there was all this commotion that you would not have known if you were not backstage. One of the girls who had a solo had injured herself during the first show very badly. I don't know if somebody else's skate hit her or if she hit herself with her skate during a move, but if you don't like hearing about like bodily injuries here, like just fast forward a couple seconds, but she apparently cut herself so bad and was bleeding that needed stitches. They put second skin on her and she's like, it's fine, I'll do the second show. And they convinced her like, you should go to the hospital. So she did. And there is a teenage girl who used to skate with my daughter during public skate. So when my daughter was in preschool, her preschool is down the street from this rink, and they had public skate every day, 1 to 2:30. So after preschool, she would have lunch, and then we would go for public ice. And this girl, she's in high school now. She was in middle school then. She would skate with my daughter during this public skate that had like 4 people on it because most people are in school and work in the middle of the day. And she would do that before she got on the ice for freestyle ice later on. So she was helping backstage as one of the volunteers. She was helping some of the older kids who had a lot of quick changes get in and out of their costumes. Excuse me, because one thing you have to keep in mind is that when you're changing a costume for dance, for example, the footwear that you have on, like ballet shoes, can easily slip into from one leotard to the other. But ice skates can't necessarily fit when you put a leotard on and then take it off. So a lot of times these kids are taking off their skates, putting the dress off, putting the new dress on, putting their skates back on. So a lot of things were happening backstage. Well, she just took the dress and got right on the ice and did it for the second show. And I was blown away. And I was talking to her afterwards, and she's like, oh, I didn't know the program at all. Like, I literally learned it 5 minutes before I went on. And I don't know what they would have done had she not been there, because I think the girls who were at that level to be able to do that were already doing numbers in the show. But anyway, she did an amazing job. She hopped on, and apparently one of the other kids fell and may have broken her wrist. I didn't hear anything back about that, so I have no idea. But as a spectator, I had no idea any of this was going on backstage. So kudos to the entire team there. They did. You guys, I know like my kid was in it, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. I watched the entire show twice, back to back. I really, really enjoyed it. And I'm super proud of those kids because they all worked really, really hard. So, but it was a lot because we had dress rehearsal Tuesday, like full dress rehearsal. And then we had 2 shows on Friday, which meant she had to get pulled out of school twice that week. And then she had been pulled out of school, I mean, early, not like she missed school. And then she had missed some school like the week before for one appointment, and then the week before that for a different appointment. So yeah, I'm like I said, I'm super proud. I don't know how else to say it, you know what I mean? I'm very proud. I'm very, very proud. But I'm trying to see, I have so many random colors on my desk. Where is symbol P? I have to move all of this over because now it's like in the way. But that's okay. We're going to keep going. How am I on time? All right. But so yeah, so that's marked the end of that class. And they are doing a modified version of it over the summer, which my daughter will still be a part of. But it only has the lower level part of the class. So my daughter takes a couple classes, and this one is Aspire, which is basic 3 up through doubles, I think. And for the summer, they are only focusing on basic 4, 5, and 6 and Aspire 1, 2, and 3. My daughter is in the upper basic skills levels. I don't really know exactly where they have her at. But her coach has her, I don't want to say her coach has her skate up, but her coach has her skating up for like group lessons and things like that, because not that she isn't going to learn something if it's the same skill she's been working on for 2 years, but she's not being challenged. So they usually put her up. So I'm excited and also nervous to see like what they're going to do with her, because they did say it's only going to be those lower levels and they need to figure out coaches. So last week, my kiddo went, it was technically the last day of the session, and they excused all of the like higher level big kids, and the little kids got a lot of attention. Now, I think that's because there was a competition that the other coaches were all at, but they had a class. Sorry, my words were like escaping my mouth as I was saying them. They have a class that it had a small amount of kids, and so we're sitting there and they're working on their skills, and then the music gets on and I'm like, oh, do they have free skate? Well, what they did was they let all of the kids make their own program to the same song. You could do a solo, a duo, a trio, a group, however many people you wanted. So I had to get some water. Hold on. Sorry about that. So my daughter decided to do a solo, and I wish I had known that this is what they were doing, because I would have taped it. So the music comes on, and listen, I'm not surprised by any of this. My child is such a dramatic human being about everything. The good, the bad. Like, she's a very theatrical kid. She's also over the top about, like, little things, too, that you're like, girl, that you don't need to be that serious. But it works out well when you're trying to do theatrical things on the ice. So she's doing these like soft hands and lifting her leg as she's going by. And then all of a sudden, she starts working on these skills that the majority of this class does not know how to do. And I'm not sure if any of them have tried. There are a couple kids that are higher levels than her. There's one for sure in that class that knows how to do all of these skills. And then there were a brother-sister duo who I think that, like, they were still there that day because, like, parents had dropped them off and they didn't have a ride home. So they were like, well, I might as well get on the ice. But she goes into a waltz jump. She does a scratch spin. She does a toe loop, which her toe loop is, like, her arch nemesis sometimes. And then she goes into her half flip, which she's, like, just learning right now. And, like, does all of these skills. And I'm just like, geez, kid. Like, girl, good for you. Excuse me. And I think some of the other parents were a little like, oh. Like, they knew that Briar knew how to skate, but, like, they've never had an opportunity to see her on her own, like, show off, kind of. And then, like, the littlest ones put together a little mini pinwheel with the 3 of them. It was just the cutest thing. Each kid did something different with their time. And, yeah, I'm very grateful for the community at that rink. And then my daughter was doing her regular private lessons, and her coach said to me the other day, hey, you want to talk about Hershey? And I'm like, ugh. Okay. Hershey is a competition. It's in Hershey. We did it last year. That was our first competition last year. And if you guys are any bit familiar with, like, Hershey Park, it is an amusement park. Like a real amusement park. And it also has on the grounds the Hershey Park Arena, which is an outdoor music stadium. It has the old Hershey Park Arena, which is an ice skating rink. And then you have a restaurant, and there is no designated parking for the rink or the restaurant. It is all just in the Hershey Park parking lot. So last year there was like a crazy monsoon, and thankfully Brian was off. Excuse me. So he was able to drop us off like as close to the door as possible, and then he parked and then got hit in the rain. Whereas this year, if there's no weather issue, the park's going to be open, and we're going to have to basically be like fighting for our life. Now, my husband does technically work for Hershey in a different capacity, so he could technically go park his car at his employee lot and then walk the like half mile or mile or whatever it is instead, if that was an absolute necessary thing. But in general, I felt like my kid has competed in, let me see, she's gotten 4 competitions, I think, now, and maybe 5, and of all of them, that was my least favorite. Not because of how she did or anything like that, but it is the locker rooms, which weren't even locker rooms, they're just like these open areas, are downstairs, but the rink is upstairs, and there is no means to get from one to the other. And I am constantly being told, bring her down, take her here, go there. So I was up and down. I hit my daily steps for the day just at the rink for the competition. And it's a lot. Like, competition days in general are a lot. And so I wasn't sure if we wanted to do it again this year or not. And nobody had said anything, so I was like, maybe we're in the clear. Now, let me just preface this by saying that we don't have to do any competitions, right? Like, they're all optional. But this would be the last one that my kid would be able to do for at least a couple months. And it's also local to me, which is a nice benefit of being able to, go home in the middle of the day, depending on what time she skates, or not having to stress about, like, getting up crazy early, depending on what time practice ice is. Anyway, super long story short, her coach let me know the other day, hey, did you guys want to sign up for Hershey? The registration closes, like, June 1st. Technically, it's June 2nd. And I was like, oh, this was told to me, I think, 4 days ago. And I'm like, oh, okay. So, again, I don't have to do it. And in case anyone is curious, they don't know how figure skating competitions work or anything like that. And I don't expect, if you're not in this world, to know how it works. Trying to see if I have this color without moving everything on my desk. 38. There we go. So, anyway, you pay for your child to compete. You pay a registration fee. You pay for practice ice. You pay for your coach. Fine. The last competition my daughter competed in, she competed at Basic 4, and since that competition, which was March, her coach has been deciding what to do with her next. Do we move her up 1 level, or do we think we can move her up 2 levels? Which, I'm here for whatever you guys want to do. The problem is that my daughter has not been given a new program in full quite yet. And although the registration ends, like, tomorrow in real time, and the competition is in August, it's still a little daunting to know that if I sign her up today, like, she still doesn't have, like, a true full program. Do I think that my kid could get the rest of her program and it'd be absolutely no issue for her to learn and master? No, I'm not super concerned about that, but I also don't know. And the other issue is that it is the same week as one of her skating camps. And we had the same thing happen last year where they coincided with each other. And I had to pull her out of camp one of the days, or bring her in late one of the days. And then she literally had 4 days of intense ice skating camp and then competed the next day. It was just a lot. And I just don't know if I'm up for it. And I have asked Briar, and she's gone back and forth with, immediately she was like, yes, I want to do it. Now she's like, I'm not sure if I want to do it. And I'm like, okay, let me know. Mommy has to decide and pay for it. I'm sure that there's a late registration available, but usually that's like a crazy fee, and I don't want to do that. And then my other like slight fear, which is probably not as rational, I guess, is that like I don't want her coach to decide last minute, you know what, we are going to actually bump her up. And then I have to go through the process of having that changed, and I don't know how easy or difficult that is. But either way, if she competes, great. If she doesn't compete, also great. But I'd also like to know, because my daughter's been dying to dye her hair, and I'm not going to dye her hair right before a competition. Not that I care, but I don't feel like dealing with the shit from her coach about, like, why does she have hot pink hair? Or whatever color she goes with. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I guess if there is a WIP Chat next week, maybe a decision will have been made by then. But it's... Does anybody else, like, totally stress out when their kids are out of school? Like, little kids. Like, bigger kids, they can be more self-contained. And, you know, I don't know. Went to a birthday party yesterday. She went to a birthday party. I dropped her off. It was at a classmate's house, which is actually very, very close to us. It's like a 2-minute drive from my house, 3-minute drive. And the mom had initially texted me a few days ago and said, the weather looks great. We're going to pull out the water slide, so send the kids in bathing suits with a towel. I said, okay. And then yesterday, we were out and about getting some stuff done, and I was like, it's like 55 degrees. And I knew it was going to warm up, but not that much. So I texted the mom, and I was like, is that still on? And she's like, well, the consensus is it's not summer. So I took that as they're not going to do it. Well, I drop her off at the party. I let her know, if you guys do end up going on the water slide and the splash pad stuff, you know, let me know, and Mommy can bring you a bathing suit. Okay, Mommy. I am home like maybe 10 minutes. And she has her smartwatch, and so she messages me, hi, Mommy, can you bring me my bathing suit, please? Okay, bye. And I'm like, sure. So I did, and she had the best time, and I walked up, and I was like, what's all over your face? And she's like, chocolate. I'm like, oh, okay. They had a chocolate fountain. It was a Frozen, like Disney's Frozen, themed party, and they had all these little outdoor games set up. They had some sort of activity where kids were searching for like Olaf, but they were made out of like cotton balls. They were all over the yard, and just all these really cute backyard games. And the mom and dad did a really fantastic job. The mom has hosted Briar for play dates a few times. Like, multiple kids have come over, and they all leave with gift baskets. And it is the sweetest thing. And Briar had to miss one day, and she still like sent the basket in with her daughter to send home with Briar from school the next day. I was like, so sweet. She must really enjoy like the party planning stuff. Like my brain does not, I'm not organized, first of all, but also like my brain just isn't creative on demand. I'm a very creative person, just not like on demand. That's also why I hate Spirit Days. Like, don't make me have to come up with something. So last week our daughter had Spirit Day, Field Day, her show. They had some book person, some author come. It's just like, God, May is rough for parents of kids in like a traditional school. Like if you're in a homeschooling situation, I mean, obviously if you're in a co-op, things are going to be different, but if you are homeschooling, you're probably not torturing yourself by being like, let's have a spirit day for our kids, or random field day, you know what I mean? I don't know. So it was a lot between all of that, and I feel like now I can breathe, and then in a few days, I'm going to be like drowning again because my kid's going to be home. And again, just before anybody's like, I love my kid and I love spending time with her, but I also am not afraid to admit that like sometimes I just need a break, and that's totally okay. And unfortunately, I don't really get that very often. I get that when my husband is off from work and either we're spending time, all of us, or he's got her while I'm doing something else. But I also need to do like some boring stuff still. I need to get like new sneakers for her. I need to get... There's something else like important that I needed to get. Now I can't remember what it was. But yeah, I'm trying to remain optimistic. We'll see how well that goes, because I've been struggling a lot over here. For better or worse, I guess. I mean, I guess there's no for worse or better in that situation. Anyway, shouldn't have even said anything. But I'm just hoping that summer can remain like a positive, uplifting thing for us and not like a total disaster. But I guess only time will tell with that one. But yeah, so I asked my daughter what she wanted to do to celebrate the end of the school year. Did you want to go somewhere? Did you want to do anything? And you know what she said? And Marlene, if you are listening to this, you're right. You don't even have to think it out loud. You are already right. She wants to go to her favorite fancy restaurant, Chili's. So that's what we'll be doing on Friday, I guess. And I'm also a little bit confused. Our coach sent us a text message. It was like a group chat. You guys ever just like text with people that are older and you're like, what are you trying to say here? Because that's how I felt. So it was something about Friday Ice ending at 8:50. And I was like, is she trying to say that Friday Ice is over for the summer at 8:50? Like there is going to be no more Friday morning ice? Because if that's the case, that's when we have morning lessons. So I don't know what she wants to do with that. Because our coach loves to tell me that my daughter doesn't get enough ice time while simultaneously not having enough time in her schedule for my daughter to pick up any more ice. So go figure. Or is she just trying to say that this particular Friday, it's over at 8:50? Which, if that were the case, why not just text the one person who has a lesson at that time? I understand that once school is out, morning ice will pick up towards the later end, because you'll have kids who, they don't have to be in school, so the parents are giving them ice time in the morning. But also, when you go to register for ice time, it tells you what time the ice is there. So the one day they had like an extra hour and nobody knew because they didn't pay attention to what it said online. So I'm hoping that it's the latter and not the former, because I don't know what we're going to do if we have to lose like a whole lesson and you want us to get ready for a competition, potentially. So I don't know. We'll see. I think I'm going to just finish this color here with you guys and then skedaddle. But did I just get something in my pen? Okay. So, of course, the wax just wants to not be great right now. What is everybody working on? I feel like I should have asked that earlier. But if you guys haven't seen, a couple videos did go up. I had Art and Soul. Not Art and Soul. Ever After. Why did I just say Art and Soul? Ever After, I had a post review go up for that kit, which was super cute. then obviously the unboxing for this. I'm just excited, you guys. I'm excited. I'm hoping that I can still figure out how to carve time out for myself over the summer. Recently, I've gotten to the point where when it's her and I, like if she's off for the day, like she doesn't have school, not like she's off, I don't diamond paint during the day. I am only able to diamond paint at night after she goes to bed. So I'm hoping that I can come up with some sort of schedule, because I can't just be like, all right, kiddo, go to your room for a couple hours while mommy diamond paints. You know, obviously when she's at camp, I won't maximize that. But I have been trying to come up as soon as I get her to bed, which sometimes is not very quickly. She just hates sleep sometimes. But that's it. If you guys made it all the way to the end, leave me some sort of green emoji to know that you guys made it to the end. But that's all I got for you guys. I hope that you guys enjoyed this. If you like this video and you'd like to see more videos like this, or nothing like this at all, please make sure to give this video 2 thumbs up. 1 real life, 1 virtual. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. Come join the Sparkle Squad. And while you're there, hit that notification bell. I do not operate on any sort of schedule. I operate on toddler standard time, and I record when my tiny human is sleeping or sleeping. Thank you guys so much for being here. I'll see you in my next one. Bye, guys.